Think about how much time you spend on your phone every day. Most of us don't really question it, it just feels normal. But what if that time is actually affecting how stressed we feel? So, in this project, we'll look at one main question. Does screen time makes us more stressed? And more importantly, we try to understand how sleep fits into that relationship. To explore this, we analyzed data from over 22,500 participants. What we found right away is that people are spending a lot of time on screens, around 5.5 to almost 8 hours per day on average. At the same time, people are only sleeping about 6.7 hours per night, which is actually below the recommended 7 to 9 hours. So, this already suggests a possible pattern. As screen time increases, sleep might decrease, and that could lead to higher stress. That idea becomes the foundation of our analysis. To test this idea, we used two different data sets. The first data set focuses on basic relationships like screen time, sleep, and stress. The second data set adds more detail, especially things like phone usage before sleep and additional stress indicators. By combining both data sets, we can get a clearer picture of how these variables interact with each other. For looking at relationships, we first examine how each variable is distributed. We see that screen time is spread across a wide range, meaning people have very different usage habits. Stress levels, on the other hand, are slightly skewed toward the higher end, which suggests many participants report relatively high stress. For sleep, most people fall around 6 to 7 hours, which again is slightly below the recommended level. So even at this stage, we can see a potential issue that people are using screens heavily while not getting enough sleep. To better understand how everything connects, we look at the correlation heat map. Here, one thing stands out clearly, screen time has a strong positive association with stress. We also see that mental fatigue is very strongly related to stress, which suggests those two might be capturing very similar experiences. At the same time, not every variable is strongly related, so this tells us that stress is influenced by multiple factors, not just screen time. When we zoom in on the relationship between screen time and stress, the pattern becomes much clearer. As screen time increases, stress levels also tend to increase. However, it's not a perfect relationship. There's still a lot of variation in the data. Some people with high screen time report low stress and vice versa. So the key takeaway here is screen time is an important factor, but it's not the only factor affecting stress. Now, when we look at screen time and sleep, the pattern is different. The relationship here is much weaker. There is a slight trend showing that higher screen time may be linked to less sleep, but it's not very strong in the data. So this tells us that sleep is affected, but screen time alone doesn't fully explain it. Even though that relationship is weak, sleep still plays an important role. When we look at sleep and stress, we see that shorter sleep duration is linked to higher stress. So, putting everything together, we can think of it like this: screen time may reduce sleep, and reduced sleep is associated with higher stress. In addition, using phones before sleep also shows a positive relationship with stress and fatigue. Sleep acts as a kind of pathway that helps explain parts of the relationship, even if it's not the whole story. So, overall, our finding supports our hypothesis. We found that higher screen time is strongly associated with higher stress. We also found that stress is closely linked with mental fatigue. Sleep shows a weaker relationship with screen time, but it still plays a role in explaining how stress develops. At the same time, there are important limitations. The data we use is synthetic, and these results are based on correlation, not causation. So we cannot say that screen time directly causes stress, but we can say there is a constant and meaningful relationship. And that's the main takeaway from our project. Thank you.